Hi there, this is Nick Mankey, and I just thought I would provide a quick overview as to the awesome packaging of the Dive series straps and all of its even more awesome contents. So let's dive in and check it out. First, we have the bag, which as you can see mimics something of a diver down flag, followed by a neat little custom label to enhance the theme and what will be your information. This is generic for now, identifying the strap build. With that, you may have noticed that this is not just a bag, but it is in fact a mesh laundry bag. And I'll explain that in a second. But first, let's see what's inside. And we have commemorative limited edition card signed by me with some cool information. And on the back, we have the actual strap, the new Tether V2, a neat little light attenuation depth gauge. Just for fun, you can determine at what depth you're willing to go, at which color fades to basically black or non-existent, followed by a fitment instruction link, which will take you to this video. So other than the card and the strap and the tether, we also have some goodies inside the bag. Some spring bars, Nick Mankey design sticker, and then the custom limited edition Dive series sticker. There you go. And then just lastly, a little business card. And with that, here we have the mesh bag, and I'll quickly just go over that for you. Like I said, it is a mesh laundry bag. We have a nice contrasting zipper for easier visibility. We have a nice little hang dry loop here. And then on the side, we have my custom logo, as well as another custom icon that I would very much like you to appreciate. RPET, meaning that this entire mesh bag is made from recycled plastic bottles, 100% recovered from the ocean. And then the tag greatness continues on the inside. As you can see, it says hook here, which is a signal that for further well-being of your hook straps, you can hook your strap onto here to kind of keep it secure while it's being tossed around in the wash and the dryer. So your hook will just kind of slide through there, and there it will sit. And on the back, it just explains again that this is 100% recycled polyester construction. So that is that. This can be used to wash any of your hook straps indefinitely. I've tested it myself, works great, and finally have a nice sized wash bag to do just that. You can wash multiple straps at a time if you want, up to you. But there you go. This is more than just packaging. It is an item of utility and further use. So use it accordingly. On to the contents. Now getting back to the matter at hand, here we have the Dive Series hook strap and the Tether V2. And to remove, these simply are just kind of stuck in place. Same here. So just a little adhesive bit. And we'll put this aside for now. And here we have the Dive Series strap. Yours may look a little bit different. There are 4 different models. And then the Tether Module V2. First, I'm actually going to cover this, the Tether Module V2, because it is very new and it could be very confusing if you didn't know what you were looking at. So let's dive into that. First of all, this is an all-new material for me and an all-new construction style, being that this is laser cut from Challenge Outdoor EcoPack EPX 600, which is essentially just a super high-tech composite that is also waterproof and UV resistant with a 600 denier fabric weight and an internal 45-degree cross-ply of fibers, as well as a 70 denier ripstop liner for added strength. All 100% made from recycled plastic bottles. This is more or less what the material looks like in its full form. You can see the cross-ply fibers as well as the ripstop liner, which is more of the grid look. Laser cut right here in the shop. Extremely strong, super durable, washes fine, waterproof to 200 PSI. I mean, it's a marvelous material, and this was the final choice among dozens of different fabrics that I tested for use as a Tether module. Now, what is a Tether module? I keep saying that. A Tether module is essentially just a little device that I've come up with that serves to retain your watch in the event of a spring bar failure. So you can imagine you're wearing a watch on your wrist and spring bar comes flying off. The hook strap is not installed beneath the watch, so the watch would theoretically fall off your entire wrist. To combat that remote possibility, my first generation Tether was simply elastic with 2 metal loops. This is the Tether V2, which is just a single piece of material that we will fold into a watch restraining device. And in case you're thinking, I hear you, Nick, that's a neat little fabric you have there, but it just looks so thin. There's no way it's gonna hold my watch to my wrist. So essentially, the way that this Tether V2 works is that it relies on the use of at least 2 of these loops. At a minimum, you must use 2 of these loops for the strength required to serve its function. And by that, I mean that these will be folded over momentarily to generate the loop on each side that your strap will pass through. But before you start folding anything, we actually kind of have to determine the size watch that it's being installed to. In general, the way I've sized this is without any alteration. There is a configuration here that should fit most watches in the range of 40 to 42 millimeters, kind of that sweet spot, without being too long. If you have a longer watch than a 42 millimeter watch, you also have options here. You can extend this quite a bit, and you can shorten it even more down to something closer to like a 36 to 38 millimeter size watch. Now that is all depending on the actual length of the watch from lug to lug, not just the side to side diameter. So it's best to do this by eye in a lot of ways. And so to do that, I have a model right here. Recently received Momentum, the SQ30 Eclipse, which is, I believe, a 42 millimeter watch. So first things first, I am going to remove this old strap, get it out of the way so we can properly see what we're working with. So there we go. You can see the spring bars there. And in general, we kind of just want to plop this right over the top and see where we line up. So centering the circle in the middle, which is mostly for allowing fitness sensors on smartwatches to function properly because you're not blocking them anymore. That's just kind of our center point at this point. So what we're trying to do is identify where we want our strap to go. You're essentially trying to place one of these slots in the space where the strap would go, which is between the case and the spring bar. And it looks like we have a pretty happy slot at the sort of second from the inside, if that makes any sense. So our target is going to be to use that slot number 2 on each side. So to achieve the goal of our assembly at this stage, we're going to utilize these tabs at the top and the bottom. Those will fold into the bottom slot. So again, we're going to fold it, make sure that there's overlap. I am going to fold this all the way down to the bottom. And you can see that that kind of matches up nicely with those 2 bottom slots through and through. And we're then going to take this little tab and fold it back onto itself inside. And I find it best or easiest to kind of pull on it from the back side until those tabs are all the way through, just like that. And that is now pretty much locked in place. And we'll just simply do the same on this side. And there we are. So we've now fully constructed a Tether V2. It's kind of cool because the text actually still lines up. Shows 20 and the NMD logo still. We can now kind of observe how it will fit onto the back of this watch. In particular, by just holding it over and observing that there's a nice clear space through and through that the strap can pass through. And that will serve to retain the watch once again if a spring bar was to fail. Now, if you happen to have a smaller watch than this may appear too long. For example, I have a Garmin Forerunner right here, and let's see how this standard configuration works. First, we can see that the sensor is nicely exposed, but it's looking a little long as far as the lug to lug goes on the length of that tether. So some people might not care. If you do, and you feel like that's just too long, we have options. To shorten though, one of the compromises of this style is that we will need to trim this piece of fabric. And to do so, it's not a big deal. I have a spare one right here that we're going to trim down. And essentially, if you need to use a smaller size, what you're aiming for is the use of this very bottom slot. And to use that bottom slot, you can see that this folds really far down, and there's no really folding it back onto itself without a great deal of annoyance when you're trying to install the strap through this slot. You can do it. You can push this through, and the strap can flow sort of behind this tabbed piece. You can do that if you prefer to not cut into your tether. However, I will show you that it is very easy and it really doesn't cause too much of a loss. Essentially, all we want to do is take off this very last slot. And we're going to do that like this. So a little snip. And a little snip. And that's it for that side. You can do the same to this side. And at this point, all you're really trying to do is you're going to fold this over just like that. Basically, the first slot over the third slot. And then you're going to fold it over again. And that will give you a triple layer of fabric, I believe, and the ability to use that very bottom slot. And you'll do that on both sides. And there you go. Now, the reason this isn't as ideal is because it is kind of free floating, so you will have to manage the fact that these are in loops, but that's okay. Once it's installed, it does not move. I will get back to this as I show you the install portion, but just know that that is an option available to you.